Here's roller derby action from Madison Square Garden, New York City, New York. The Gold Cup champion New York Chiefs in competition against the San Francisco Bay Bombers, and excitement on the bank track. Hello everyone, I'm Don Drury, speaking from trackside here at Madison Square Garden. The competition early here in the first period of this game. The Bombers have scored on the first play. Marge Laszlo outnumbered 2-1 and is doing quite a bit of the jamming for the San Francisco Bay Bombers in this series. She just passed Judy McGuire and Rita Williams in this exciting competition. Things that you're going to watch for this evening in the men's field will be Mike Gammon, Tony Roman, and Charlie O'Connell. A rough series all the way through, and we expect to see more of the same type of action here tonight in this competition. Also in the women's field, a skater that has come a long ways, Carolyn Moreland, is doing a lot of the defensive blocking, and the action is going on right now. Trackside, this is Don Drury. In just a moment, we'll be back with the action on the track. This is Don Drury calling the action trackside from Madison Square Garden. The competition this afternoon between the San Francisco Bay Bombers and the New York Chiefs. Don Drury and Jack O'Neill calling the game. The score here in the first period, the San Francisco Bay Bombers 5, the New York Chiefs nothing. Rough game so far. The Chiefs unable to get on the scoreboard. As the pack is being reformed right now, we're going to go back down trackside and pick up the action. Briefly, we're going to run down the team lineups for the San Francisco Bay Bombers. If you're watching in color, they're in the brown and orange jerseys. If you're watching in black and white, they are in the dark jerseys. Number 31, Kathy Pulliam. Number 32, Barbara Noonley. Number 33, Elaine Bonema. 34, Dolores Tucker. 35, Linda Antonio. 36, Linda Johnson. Number 38 is Marge Laszlo. There is a penalty call down on the play. No correction. No, there is. A 1-minute penalty slugging. Number 38, Marge Laszlo. She decked McGuire down on the New York Chief turn. So the Bombers will be short-handed for 1 minute with Marge Laszlo going to the penalty box, and that is the first penalty of the game. The rundown for the New York team lineup. Number 42, Sheila Pogge Truman. Number 43, Carolyn Moreland. Number 44 is Pam Harrison. Number 45, Judy McGuire. Number 46, the women's captain, Sandy Dunn. Number 48 is Rita Williams, and out of the lineup with an injury is number 49, Linda Sacco. The pack being reorganized now. Pivot skaters at the front, blockers in the middle, jammers at the rear. If you're watching in color, the Chiefs are in the green and gold. If you're watching in black and white, they are in the two-tone. Jam started. It's number 45, Judy McGuire, moving out for the Chiefs. Bombers breaking the jammer loose, number 31, Kathy Pulliam. Each team, one jammer, one potential scorer out and moving on this jam. McGuire with the lead, Pulliam in pursuit. There's a picture of the pack. Remember, the pack is the group of skaters from both teams collectively at one time. 31, Pulliam trying to take the lead away from Judy McGuire. Moving down the straightaway, going into the bomber turn, an elbow block, or a shoulder block rather, into the back of McGuire. McGuire comes back with an elbow block from the outside. Pulliam slowed down. It'll be done. And Tucker back on defense for the respective teams. Offensive jammers moving in. Elbow block back by Dunn. Stops Kathy Pulliam. Tucker trying to stop McGuire. McGuire backs up. Dunn setting up Pulliam. McGuire back in the block. She's down. Going back to lead the way. Calling out the play back to McGuire. They're in scoring contention at the rear. Coming up out of the Bay Bomber turn. McGuire whip to the outside. Reverse whip spin. McGuire scores. Inside jam called off. And that is the first point for the New York Chiefs here tonight at Madison Square Garden. And the score now, the Bay Bombers 5 and the Chiefs 1. 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining here in the period. Jack, little Judy McGuire with the assist of Sandy Dunn picking up that first point. You've been watching the game. How does it look?
Judy's had some rough going in the first part of this game, Don, but she's coming alive now. She's been skating very, very well at the beginning of the game. Now she and Dunn seem to be getting things going. They seem to be getting together and look for the Chiefs to make a run at the Bombers in the beginning.
Well, the pack is back in the formation, and it's Marge Laszlo back in the lineup. Her penalty time has expired. Bombers trying to get the first jammer out and moving. It's New York who breaks it out. 43, Carolyn Moreland. This is a young lady that's really come a long way. Started off with Rookie of the Year honors 4 seasons ago, and she's now moved to one of the top jamming positions and defensive blocking positions in the league. A very, very agile skater. Fast moving, it's number 35, Linda Antonio, in pursuit of Carolyn Moreland as the Chief into the rail. It's Judy McGuire, and Moreland forced to cut the play off. No score on the jam. The Bombers hang on to a 4-point lead, 5-1 over the Chiefs. Moreland taking a rest up on the rail. She's allowed a 2-lap rest after each jam. Jammers out on a previous play are allowed a 2-lap rest. And Moreland is up on the rail right now as the pack is being reformed. New York trying to get the pack back into formation. Pivot skaters in the front, blockers in the middle, and the jammers are at the rear of the pack. Jammers are your offensive skaters. They wear the striped helmets. Blockers defensive. They wear solid colored team helmets. Pivot skaters are primarily defensive. However, once a jammer starts to play, they're eligible to go out and score. There's the jam starting. Carolyn Moreland off a whip from Judy McGuire. Laszlo out with a pivot helmet on. She's now an eligible scorer. Jammers started to play first. Moreland driving right back to that New York turn. Elbow block in. Laszlo hit back. Shoulder block and then back by Moreland. Laszlo coming up out of the bomber turn to the outside. Hit. Put down. Dunn comes up with a block. Laszlo dumped again in the pack. Marge Laszlo is now caught behind the pack. New York the only scoring threat out moving on the play. The Chiefs, number 43, Carolyn Moreland. All 5 bombers kept in the pack. Now a jammer breaks loose. 35, Linda Antonio. Laszlo on defense. Moreland put down. Laszlo done by Sandy Dunn. Moreland scrambling back to his skates. Moving up out of the New York turn is shoulder block. Again, Moreland put to the Masonite. Dunn back, elbow block to the outside. She's down. Bomber jammer coming up. Moreland dives to the outside. Jam called off. And there was one. Chief point picked up. Carolyn Moreland the assist. Sandy Dunn.
Carolyn really wanted that one, Don. Earlier in the period, Margie Laszlo had been giving her, Sandy Dunn, and Judy McGuire fits. And Carolyn has been looking at Margie ever since she got that penalty for giving the facial massage to Judy. And Carolyn wanted to get by her, wanted to show her we're not out of this game yet, so don't think you're going to have a cakewalk tonight.
Well, it's early here in the first part of this game. This is the first period. There are 30 seconds remaining. Bombers remain on top, 5-2 over the Chiefs. And the Chiefs trying to get the pack back into formation right now. They're not going to have too much time, even if they do form the pack. Time in the period jam will be on the scoreboard clock if the jam does start. 15 seconds left to go. Jammers worked away from the rear of the pack. They're moving forward. Jam started, but it's a race against time. Only 10 seconds to go. Williams, McGuire on the move for New York. San Francisco pulling him out along with 32. Barbara Noonley. And time in the period has expired. No score, no score. But a score at the end of the first skating period. The Bay Bombers 5 and the Chiefs 2. Don Drury and Jack O'Neill calling the game between the Gold Cup champion New York Chiefs and the San Francisco Bay Bombers from Madison Square Garden. This is the second period of action. You'll see the second half of this game on this station, so be sure and watch for that. The men on the track, second period and the men's first period of the game. Jammers trying to find their way out of a heavily congested pack in the front. And the Chiefs break the first jammer out, number 44, Larry Lee. 32, Chris Rowe moving out for the Bay Bombers. Block out of the bomber turn, hits him with another one. Lee stays right in contention. Driving back up out of that Bay Bomber, out of the New York Chief turn, down the straightaway, shoulder block. Rowe put him to the rail. Number 44, Larry Lee. Tall and lanky young man, weighs in about 170 pounds, stands about 6 foot in height. He'll be facing one of the tougher defensive blockers in the league, Pete Boyd, number 36. Bob Woodbury dropping back on defense for the New York Chiefs. Elbow block to the outside, and it's 32. Chris Rowe hit back. Woodbury back with a block again. Rowe put down. Woodbury now free to move up on the assist. Boyd back with a block to the outside. Woodbury block to the inside of Boyd, does not take. Lee comes back again. Out of that Chief turn. Hit back. Good shoulder block back there by Boyd. Down the straightaway, Rowe moving back up in the scoring position for the Bay Bombers. He's put into the rail again by Bob Woodbury. Again, Woodbury on the drive, inside, block the Boyd. There goes Lee inside. Lee getting by, continues to move. Down the straightaway, jam called off. The official decision, there was one Chief point picked up on the play. One Chief point picked up. There is a 1-minute penalty blocking after the jam. Number 36, Pete Boyd. Boyd connecting with Woodbury after the play, picked up a 1-minute penalty. The Bombers will be shorthanded. Second penalty of the game, and the first for the men.
On that play, Don, you saw the value Bob Woodbury has brought to the Chiefs. Before, like last season, it would be Bill Grohl who would have to do all the work back. Woodbury has come on. He's done a great job for the Chiefs so far this season. He's going to be a big asset to them.
Well, I certainly think the Chief management thought so, Jack, when they picked up Bob Woodbury. And thus far, it seems to be in their favor. The pack is formed. Here come the Jammers scrambling from the rear. It's number 47, John Early. Starts that jammer on the outside of Jim Cook. 35, James Paul moving out for the Bay Bombers. Gammon, Roman, secondary jammers being kept in the pack by Woodbury and by Cook. Bombers at a disadvantage, shorthanded. There goes Early. Blocks into James Paul. Paul driving right back up. Out of the Chief turn. Down the straightaway now. Paul to the inside. Sidestep by Early. Paul off balance. Fighting. Goes down. little bit off balance as they threw that block, and with the speed they're moving along there on the track, a little bit tough to sustain. Early now moving into scoring position. It's going to be number 38, Jim Cook, back on defense for the Bay Bombers. Early to the outside, belted back. Bill Grohl dropping back on the assist for John Early. Forced to drop back defensively now. It's James Paul moving up. Bay Bombers outside. Grohl back. A good series of elbow blocks. Paul down again. Here comes Grohl. Drive inside. Good block to Cook. Early scores. Jam called off. And Cook driven to the infield. There was one chief point scored. John Early scoring the assist, Bill Grohl. Remember that the only way you can become a professional skater is to learn to skate the right way on a bank track. There are many offsprings of skaters that skate, and you've probably seen or heard about them in the newspapers. But to become a professional, you have to learn by attending a roller derby training center. For information in your area of a training center, write to P.O. Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. It's number 40, Charlie O'Connell, now in the Bay Bomber lineup. The Jammers have just broken loose. Number 34, Bob Dansell, and number 43, Joe Perez for the New York Chiefs. Dansell for the Bay Bombers. Two Jammers head and head. Out of that bomber turn, Dansell comes in with a good block. Jumping Joe Perez, driving right back down. Leg block, back by Perez. Elbow block, coming up out of the New York turn. Two Jammers with a lot of speed, a lot of agility, and a lot of endurance. Woodbury hit up in that pack by O'Connell, is dropped to the rear now. It'll be Boyd. Woodbury back on defense. Offensive Jammers in scoring contention. They move up. Out of the Bay Bomber turn. Perez put down. Dansell the lead. Jammer moving up on Woodbury to the outside. Boyd trying to get Woodbury underway. Perez moving up now. Boyd forced to drop off of Woodbury. Perez moves in. Inside. Cuts low. Jumps high. Up along the handrail. Woodbury hit by Charlie O'Connell. Dansell picked off. Woodbury again back with that elbow block. O'Connell with a block to Woodbury. Doesn't take. Woodbury there to stop Dansell. Blockers being working on the Jammers at the rear. They're being stopped at the rear. Good block back there by Boyd. Time starting one short. O'Connell dumps Woodbury. Dansell moves in. Hit by Grohl. Time in that jam running out. There was one Bay Bomber point scored. Dansell over Bob Woodbury to assist Charlie O'Connell.
This is one matchup you're going to watch all night long. Pete Boyd and Charlie O'Connell against Bob Woodbury and Bill Grohl. Four of the biggest men and four of the most articulate men in the game. They can move on that track, and you're going to watch them all night long. Grohl does not want to let O'Connell get 1 inch on that track, and Boyd is not going to let Woodbury get very far if he can help it, but Bob is liable to have something to say about it before this game is over.
There's number 40, Charlie O'Connell. We're going to be talking with Charlie at the end of this half, so be sure and stay tuned for that action. There go the two best Jammers in the league today. Number 37, Tony Roman, and number 45, Dynamite Mike Gammon. Roman sprinting down the inside, drive high, hits into Gammon. Shoulder block, Gammon spun into the rail. O'Connell coming up, drives Gammon with a block to the head, puts him down. Gammon is now down behind the pack. Roman moving in a scoring position. Gammon forced back to do the blocking for New York. John Early breaking late for the Chiefs. Gammon back with a block. Roman stopped to the outside. Moves up again. Belted back. Another block. Thrown back by Dynamite Mike. Roman blocking Gammon forward. O'Connell puts Gammon down. Roman in for the score. Calls it off. And the jam is over. One more Bay Bomber point picked up on the play. Roman scoring the assist to O'Connell. That puts the Bombers on top by 3. 7-4 here in the second skating period. 5 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in this period. This isn't the only action that you're going to see of this nature throughout this season. I want to point out there are many, many other strong clubs coming in. The Jolters, one of the biggest teams in the league in the men's field. They're headlined by their coach, Cal Stevens, 6'2", 245 pounds, backed up by the sensational new rookie, Mike Moore. Nick Scopus has been added to the lineup. JoJo Stafford, women's captain John Ballo. The Pioneers headlining their way, women's captain Joan Weston, Ronnie Robinson, Bob Hyde, and a sensational new rookie, Aloha Linda Villanueva, 235 pounds, one of the more contending rookies in the league today. It's Chris Rowe moving into scoring position for the Bay Bombers. Bill Grohl back with a block. Rowe stopped to the outside. Grohl back, elbow block, hits in again. Woodbury looking to assist. His jammer Larry Lee was hit back by Pete Boyd. Good rough blocking going on at the rear. Rowe spun around. Boyd back with a block. Warned on the 20-foot rule. Boyd warned to move up within 20 feet of the pack. You have to be within 20 feet of the pack to block legally. There's Boyd, leg blocks into Larry Lee, who runs into Grohl. Spins off Grohl. Makes a drive again to the outside. Boyd there to meet him. Grohl back with a block. stops 32. Chris Rowe. O'Connell there as a backup. Woodbury hit into the rail by O'Connell. Rowe trying to take and lead the way through. Jam called off by a lead to protect Bob Woodbury as Rowe was moving up. No score on the play. No score. There's a picture of Bob Woodbury.
On that play, you saw one of the hazards of doing broadcasting around here. The cameraman got a little too close to Bob Woodbury, and on that play, Woodbury landed on top of the camera. Luckily, Bob was not injured. He landed on top. If he'd have gone into that lens and possibly cut his hand, we could have had a problem.
We have a confrontation going on down between Pete Boyd and Bob Woodbury. And Boyd has picked up a penalty. Unnecessary roughness after the play. Grohl is down. He's back on his skates now. The Bombers are short-handed once again. That's the third penalty of the game. And we point out that all three penalties have been picked up by the Bombers. One by Laszlo in the first period. Here in the second period, the second penalty for Pete Boyd. Chiefs with the advantage on the track, but they trail on the scoreboard. 7-4, 3-point separation. And a pack is formed once again. The Jammers make their way forward. Gammon, Dynamite Mike Gammon on the move. Gammon breaking out low through the middle of that pack. Number 35, James Paul, out of the Bay Bombers in pursuit of Mike Gammon. Bill Grohl at the rear of the pack, calling a signal back to Gammon. Gammon picking up the pace, they're on the move. It'll be O'Connell back on defense for the Bay Bombers. Dynamite Mike picking it up. Bill Grohl reaching back to the whip. Gammon low, underneath O'Connell. Gammon back on, block, Jam called off. Jam called off. Grohl trying to grab Gammon. Grohl jumping in. We're going to fight going up here in the straightaway. Got a fight going up here in the straightaway. Officials and teammates trying to bring it up. O'Connell has got Gammon. O'Connell slamming Gammon into the rail. Gammon, I believe, is off the track, or at least is down. I can't see where he is from here. Both teams standing off, officials in between. And Gammon is down.
Charlie O'Connell can look like the most innocent fella you ever want to meet, except when he gets on a track. Then there's going to be trouble. Here's Charlie skating around the track, and he's telling the fans now, just cut that out. Just leave me alone. I'm not doing anything, fellas. Here's Mike Gammon. What can you say about Mike? Mike is skating in this game, and he's hurt. In the last game against the Bombers, Mike went over the track, and he injured his neck and his shoulder. He's skating with bruised ribs, but he's out here giving it his all in front of the hometown fans.
There was a penalty out there, Jack. It was called on Bill Grohl for slugging. The Bombers are fielding 5 skaters. The Chiefs only 4 with Grohl in the penalty box. That's the 4th penalty of the game. Jammers out moving on the play. It's Joe Perez. And number 34, Bob Dansell. Blocking going on. Woodbury drops O'Connell. O'Connell down. Perez by. Woodbury going up the board. New York has scored. The Jam called off. There were 3 New York Chief points on the play. O'Connell dumping Woodbury. O'Connell going mad up there. Rolling O'Connell facing off. O'Connell. Gammon hit. 55 seconds remaining in the period. Skaters down, New York skaters down all over the track. Woodbury, the first to be dumped. He was slugged by O'Connell, then Grohl, then Gammon. O'Connell dumped by Bob Woodbury. That set up the first point. Then Woodbury led the way. Joe Perez picking up 3 more. The Chiefs have gone into the lead by 1. And O'Connell has picked up a 1-minute penalty. 28 seconds remaining. There are also 1-minute team penalties on both the Bombers and the Chiefs. Failure to control their teams. So the Bombers will field 3. The Chiefs will field 4. The women will be coming onto the track very shortly. Those penalties will carry over into their period. Women will be standing by. Skaters back up. O'Connell going to the penalty box. And time here in the second period has expired. The score at the end of the second period here in the first half. The Chiefs 8, the Bombers 7. Don Drury and Jack O'Neill calling today's game from Madison Square Garden. The Chiefs and the Bay Bombers in competition We're going into the third period of the first half with the score, the Chiefs 8 and the Bay Bombers 7. Penalty times carrying over from the fight at the end of the last period. Bombers fielding only 3 skaters on the track, and the Chiefs fielding only 4. Dolores Tucker, 34, started the jam at the front. It's a 3-man whip back to McGuire. She's on the move, flying out, back and in pursuit. Jenny McGuire quickly catching up with Dolores Tucker. Coming up out of the Chief turn, down the straightaway, both skaters side by side now. Out of that Bomber turn, Tucker to the inside, McGuire to the outside. Defensive blockers already dropping to the rear of the pack. They're getting ready to do their job. It'll be Doc and Laszlo back on defense. McGuire trying to grab the lead. Tucker with the advantage on the inside. McGuire makes a move, side step, Laszlo hits in the corner. The jam called off. 1 Chief point picked up on the play. That puts the Chiefs on top by 2, 9-7 here in the third period.
Dolores Tucker sitting on the track wondering what happened. When Judy McGuire gets going, she's one of the fastest skaters on the track, and she's also one of the most agile when she starts moving. On that play, Judy, you can see right there, number 45 in the light-colored uniform of the Chiefs, came down the track, put a move on Laszlo, and Tucker went flying into Laszlo down on the track, and Judy's telling them right now, I got that point on you, it's not going to be the last one.
I don't believe it will. 10 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in the third period. Back is formed once again. The Jammers in the rear. Second jam in a row for Dolores Tucker. She's breaking loose now. Along with Carolyn Moreland of the Chiefs and her teammate, number 33, Elaine Bonema. Moreland out number 2-1 on the jam. Caught behind and going for the lead. Trying to fight her way through the middle of Tucker and Bonema. Bonema to the inside. Tucker to the outside. 43. Moreland caught in the middle. And the blockers getting ready at the rear of that pack now. It's done. And Laszlo back there. Here comes Moreland. Set up by both of the Bomber Jammers. Laszlo puts it out. Laszlo going to work on Dunn. Spins her into the rail. McGuire hit back by Laszlo. Pam Harrison being taken high. Tucker and Bonema both going through. The jam called off. Bombers have scored a bundle on this one. 6 Bay Bomber points. 3 by Tucker, 3 by Bonema. That puts the Bombers back on top. Bombers 13 and the Chiefs 9. We want to remind all of the fans of the exciting games they're going to be watching on this television station throughout the coming season. They will be seeing action between the Chiefs and the Jolters. The Jolters have just signed a young rookie, a very powerful rookie, 235-pound Hawaiian girl by the name of Aloha Linda Villanueva. The Pioneers, of course, are headlined by women's captain Joan Weston. The Spitfire, Francine Koshu, one of the top jammers in the league for the women. They're led by Coach Bud Atkinson Sr., who had retired from the Chiefs. He'll be coming back into New York now against the Chiefs with the Pioneers, with Ronnie Robinson, Bob Hine, and Larry Smith. The jam called off. Out there on the play was number 31, Kathy Pulliam. She had both Rita Williams and Pokey Truman out there with her. Remember, for a free copy of the roller derby rules, put your name on the to put your name on the mailing list to receive special advance information on upcoming games in your area, write to Rules and Mailing List, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California 94604. Please include the city and station on which you are watching these games every week. The jam in progress. Once again, the Bombers have the first jammer out. It's number 36, Linda Johnson. Little Pokey Truman for New York. Low on the inside, dumping Johnson. Rita Williams on the secondary jam, along with number 31, Kathy Pulliam, keeping her in the pack, bringing her back now. It'll be Laszlo back on defense for the Bay Bombers. Truman moves forward, outside, put down by Laszlo. Jammer back up and moving again. Pulliam breaking loose from the pack. She's about a third of a lap behind, but gaining steadily. Again, Truman put down. Dunn dropping back on defense for the Chiefs. Truman back on the block. Pulliam into the rail. Dunn back to lead the way. Laszlo back on defense. 42. Truman is the one who can score. Takes a whip to the outside. Laszlo at a meter. Hits it back, slows it out. Dunn with a block to Laszlo. Doesn't take. About 10 seconds left to go. Truman put down. Pulliam takes the lead. Time starting to run short on the jam. They have 3, 2, 1, and time has run out. No score on the play. No score. Exciting, fast action. Roller derby competition from Madison Square Garden. The world champion, Gold Cup champion, New York Chiefs against the San Francisco Bay Bombers.
You're looking at the pack right now, and you may be wondering how a little girl like Pokey Truman could move big Margie Laszlo. Actually, she got down on that last jam and just steered her where she wanted her to go. That's why she was able to keep the lead for so long, and she almost scored on Laszlo on that play.
Leverage certainly has its advantage. You know, a lot of credit goes out to the larger skaters, the blockers in the league. Mainly, I guess, because they are so prominent. Because of their size, they just stand out over the jammers, but really it's the jammers who have the tougher job. They have to have the endurance to go out and chase the pack and then take that beating from the blockers and come back. Here's a perfect example. Judy McGuire out number 2-1 again for the Chiefs. She's out with Dolores Tucker and Elaine Bonema trying to grab the lead. She's in a situation similar to the one that Moreland was in earlier in this period. Moreland was unable to score. McGuire moves up again. Laszlo drops back. McGuire moves in, squats low, holds the jam off. One Chief point scored. Laszlo up and coming after McGuire. Dunn steps up in between McGuire and Laszlo. No confrontation. And New York has picked up another point. They trail by 3. Bay Bombers 13, Chiefs 10. 5 minutes, 52 seconds remaining here in the third period of the first half. You can see the second half of this game next week on this same station.
Judy McGuire, one of the smartest girls ever to play in this game, and she just got decked by Margie Laszlo. Laszlo did not take it too well when McGuire scored on her. Judy's down on the track. Timeout has been called. She's being administered to by the trainer right now. Laszlo sort of strutting around the track right now. Now she bends over and says a couple of things to the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't too thrilled about it right now. There you see Judy getting up. She seems to be a little shaken up. She's all right. Marge Laszlo in the pack with the rest of the Chiefs team. Belts McGuire again. Now she's got Sandy Dunn. And here goes Laszlo and Dunn. Laszlo with a knee. Another one. And down goes Dunn. Laszlo's standing there looking to see if there's anybody else. She's after McGuire again. Down goes McGuire. There's Stella McGuire down on the track. She's got Moreland now. Now she's got Moreland. Hits her with a forearm across the back of the neck, and Moreland's down. There goes Dunn, and the fans don't like it one bit.
There is a penalty call. 1 minute penalty. Marge Laszlo slugging the call. In addition, Laszlo has picked up a $10 personal fine, unsportsmanlike conduct. The Bombers will be shorthanded again. Laszlo going into the penalty box, her second penalty of the game. 4 minutes, 25 seconds remaining here in the third period of the first half. The pack being reorganized, Dunn back on her skates, McGuire back up. Moreland apparently shaken up, is going to the infield. Oh, the officials ruling there is a 1 minute penalty on Carolyn Moreland. Moreland apparently was ruled the penalty as she attacked Laszlo. Jammers breaking out. Bomber Jammers getting out on the play. Number 31, Kathy Pulliam. Number 36, Linda Johnson for the Chiefs. It's 48, Little Rita Williams. She's been doing a fantastic job for the Chiefs this season. Hoagie Truman into the block. Johnson taken down. Secondary Jammers are back in the pack. Now it's 1-1 out on the play. Williams hit from the back by 31. Pulliam, elbow block down the straightaway. Moving into the New York Chief turn, Pulliam back, another elbow block. Williams staggered back, off balance, almost going down. Hangs on, Pulliam back again. And with another one. Williams dumped this time in the bomber turn. It'll be number 45, Judy McGuire, back on defense for the New York Chiefs. Elbow block to the outside, Pulliam stopped from scoring. Penalty time's up. Laszlo, Moreland back on the track. Here comes Williams, inside, block. Pulliam checked into the rail. McGuire back to lead away. Dunn going to work on Laszlo over the track. Here comes Williams, drive to the inside, scores! Williams continues to move, head back, off balance, calls it off. One Chief point picked up. Rita Williams, the assist, Sandy Dunn and Judy McGuire. Bomber lead, cut to 2, 13-11. 3 minutes remaining here in the third period of play.
The Chiefs are now 2 points from the lead. And the Bay Bombers just found out that little Rita Williams is a power to be reckoned with in this game. If they put too much attention on Judy McGuire, Williams is going to come out. Pokey Truman's going to come out. Any one of a number of jammers are going to come out, and they're going to score the points for the Chiefs.
That pack quickly being reorganized. New York trying to get it back in the formation. They trail by 2. They need 2 for a tie, 3 for the lead. Jammers having a tough time working their way out of the pack. Tucker being kept in by Moreland. Hit by Pam Harrison, taken to the rear of the pack, along with the other Bomber Jammer. I can't see the number right now. It's 33. Elaine Bonema, Chief Jammers, 48. Williams unable to get out. And 45, McGuire being kept in. Good blocking, going on over the front. Tucker makes a move now. She's worked her way to the front. The only person she has to get by is a teammate, and that'll be Laszlo to assist her out of that pack. No jam as yet. Now the jam has started. It's McGuire, Dunn taking up the chase. McGuire, Dunn taking up the chase. One pivot skater and one jammer from each team on the move. Here comes McGuire, squatting low. Dunn, the Chiefs on the move. Moreland coming up. One into Laszlo, takes her back into the pack. There they are, number 45 and number 46, Sandy Dunn and Judy McGuire. Again, that double block set up by Tucker and Laszlo. McGuire tries to dive away through the middle, hit back, Dunn to the outside, stopped by Tucker. About 25 seconds left to go in jam time. Dunn again, trying to dive her way through, almost getting through. Laszlo catching a high elbow, up in the face, shaking up, stays on the play. Bomber jammer breaking light. Dunn, McGuire backing off, looking for the right opportunity, coming now out of that New York turn, side by side. Right to the middle, they're back up and on the play. Chiefs trying to lock up the rest of the back. Laszlo grabs McGuire. Dunn still going. Bomber jammer coming in, it's called off. The official decision on the play, there was a 1-minute penalty holding Marge Laszlo. 1 Chief point on the penalty, 4 on the pass, 5 Chief points scored on the jam. 3 for McGuire, 2 for Dunn. The Chiefs go on top by 3, 16-13, 40 seconds remain here in the third period. And the Bombers will be shorthanded again. Laszlo's third penalty of the evening.
This is something that the Bombers really have to watch out for, Don. If they go shorthanded too much, the Chiefs are just going to outskate them. They proved this before when they went out to a 5-0 lead, and then the Chiefs came back and they took the lead because the Bombers started to get a little rough on the track. They went down shorthanded, and the Chiefs just started skating. There are 2 young ladies to be reckoned with out on that track, 46 Sandy Dunn and 45 Judy McGuire.
That's the way it stands up and stacks up right now. Dunn is drawing a warning. Time in the period is expiring with a score at the end of the third period. The Chiefs 16, the Bombers 13. We'll be back in just a minute with the fourth period of play. Don Drury, Jack O'Neill calling the game today from Madison Square Garden. The Chiefs and the Bay Bombers. We're just going into the final period here in the first half, the fourth period. The Chiefs on top by 3, 16-13. Back is formed as the men take over now. The Jammers break loose. It's number 32, Chris Rowe, moving out for the Bay Bombers. He reaches back, a whip, Pete Boyd. Bob Woodbury coming out with a pivot helmet on for the Chiefs. Woodbury on the inside. A series of elbow blocks to Boyd. Boyd driving back out of that Bay Bomber turn. Down the straightaway. Another block into Bob Woodbury. 2 big men out moving on the play. Woodbury about 186 pounds, 6'1", 6'2". Pete Boyd out there, 6'1", 235 pounds. 2 big and rough competitors. The 2 lead jammers out moving on the play. Number 43, Joe Perez for the Chiefs. Number 35 is James Paul. Jammers moving in a scoring position at the red of pack. Blockers being warned in the 20-foot rule. Woodbury able to block. Boyd down, Paul over the top. Perez has scored. Perez down in that turn, back up. Jam is still going. Paul inside. Jam called off. There was 1 Chief point scored by Joe Perez over P. Boyd. The assist, Bob Woodbury. Here's number 37, Tony Roman. He has been the second highest scoring jammer in the International Roller Derby League for 5 seasons. Tony Roman. His wife, incidentally, is out of competition as the Romans are expecting a new addition to the family, and that is one of the top women jammers in the league, Carol Peanuts Meyer. Back form once again. Jammers up, and it's the Chiefs. First jammer on the move, 47, John Early. Bay Bombers getting on number 33, Lloyd Turbin. Turbin in pursuit. He's moving down the straightaway after John Early. Out of that Bomber turn, Early hangs on to the lead. Gammon at the front of the pack, being kept in by Jim Cook. Early put over the rail by Turbin. Gammon breaking out now. He takes up the chase. He's about a half a lap behind. Long ways to go. Roman tripping goal. Roll down. Turbin by for 1. Moves to Woodbury. Inside. Picked off there. Back to the outside. Sidestep. Turbin scores. And the official ruling, 3 Bay Bomber points picked up by the rookie, Lloyd Turbin. Turbin scoring with the assist of Tony Roman. And now coming into the Bay Bomber lineup is the man we're going to be talking to at halftime, Mr. Roller Derby, the coach of the Bay Bombers, number 40, Charlie O'Connell.
And you can tell anytime Charlie O'Connell comes on the track, he's the kind of man that's going to dominate a game. He'll tell his team just how he wants them to skate. In this area, it's going to be a very rough period with Charlie out there.
The pack is formed. O'Connell in the Bomber lineup. Bombers trail by 17-16. O'Connell with a whip hand. The first jammer breaks loose. It's a Bomber 32. Chris Rowe. Chiefs 44. Larry Lee moving out on the play. Lee taking long strides, stretching them out, trying to catch up with a fast-moving Rowe. Rowe looking over the shoulder, picking up the face. Here comes Lee. Drive, leg block. Forearm block. Rowe stacking up along the rail as Lee takes the lead in the jam. New York, the lead jammer out, moving on the play. Rowe has lost about an eighth of a lap. In distance on Larry Lee. It's going to be Pete Boyd. Bill Grohl back to do the blocking. Jammer's coming up now at the rear. Bill Grohl, elbow block to Chris Rowe, is taking the lead back in the jam. Moves forward again. Grohl, elbow block, slows him down. Boyd working on Larry Lee at the rear. Lee trying to score over the Chiefs. Leg block, back by Grohl. Lee put down by Boyd. Boyd moving up in the assist. There he is, number 36, Pete Boyd. Drives to the inside. Rowe trying to get through. Take down by Grohl. Rowe prevented from scoring. Roll back up. Leg block again. Back to Chris Rowe. Forearm block driven back. Woodbury in with a block now. Perez breaking late. O'Connell back there. Chiefs have the jammer coming up. Time in the jam running short. Rowe hit back. Time runs out. Time runs out. There's a 1-minute penalty. Illegal blocking. Bill Grohl. He was blocking in the wrong direction. He spun around. You have to block in the direction in which you are skating, which is counterclockwise. Grohl spun around, an illegal block. 1 Bomber point awarded on that penalty. 17-17, tie score. If you are a member of a service club or a charitable organization or a school affiliated group and would like to have a game scheduled in your area for the purpose of public services and raising funds for public services, write to Roller Derby Bookings, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California 94604. The Chiefs have done many benefit games, and if you're interested, be sure and write. O'Connell working on Gammon up in the front of the pack. Charlie Ode comes Gammon again. Tony Roman, number 37, the lead jammer, out moving. Right now, the Bombers were the only jammer out. Bob Woodbury back on defense. All 5 Chiefs kept in the pack. Skater shaken up is John Early at the front of that pack. Hit by O'Connell. Gammon dumped by O'Connell. Roman moving by for 1. Cook with a whip to the outside. Roman passing Bob Woodbury by Silverman. Moving up on John Early now. Gammon shaken up, being replaced in the lineup. Roman in for the score. The jam called off. The official decision, 4 Bay Bomber points on a play scored by Tony Roman. A point set up by number 40, Charlie O'Connell. We're going to be talking to Charlie at halftime. Be sure and stay tuned for that interview. Remember, exciting roller derby action coming your way on this same station. You'll be seeing the second half of this game. And throughout the season, you're going to see such great teams as the Jolters against the Chiefs. The Jolters with the biggest men's field in the league today. Cal Stevens, JoJo Stafford, along with the newly acquired jammer Nick Scopus. In the women's field, Jan Vallow. For the Pioneers, they'll be coming in. They're going to be led by the man that coached the New York team last season, Bud Atkinson Sr. Should be interesting to see how the fans react to him this season. He'll be bringing in Ronnie Robinson, Bob Hine, Larry Smith, a brand new rookie in the women's field, Aloha Linda Villanueva, 235 pounds, along with women's captain Joan Weston. The roar goes on as Joe Perez dumps the Bomber jammer James Paul. He's back in the pack. There you see the pack moving around. Number 36, Pete Boyd back on defense for the Bombers. Bombers lead by 4, 21-17. 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. Bill Grohl dropping back on the assist. Leg block, elbow block, back by Boyd. Grohl talking it over with Perez. No movers yet. Looking for the right setup. Play being called up. Down the straightaway. Moving into the Chief turn. Perez directly behind Bill Grohl. Grohl reaching back. Whip to the outside. Reverse whip. Perez scores inside. Calls it off. 1 Chief point picked up on the jam. Joe Perez scoring. The assistant's coach, Bill Grohl. 21-18. The Bombers on top by 3. Going out along this network, we'd like to welcome the newest channel to pick up the roller derby games and become a member of the Chiefs Network. That is channel 67 of Long Island, New York, WSNL, channel 67. The Chiefs will be seen in color every Saturday from 4 to 5 on channel 67, starting November the 24th. Jammers coming out of the pack for the Bay Bombers is number 33, Lloyd Turbin. Number 47, John Early, taking up the chase for the Chiefs. Each team with 1 jammer on the move. Blocking going on front of the pack. Tony Roman, Mike Gammon up there. Gammon staggered back by Tony Roman. Gammon taken back into the back. Bomber jammer dump. Here comes John Early into score position. Woodbury back to lead away. Roman has been down. Back up. Moved out of the way by Woodbury. New York trying to score additional points. Bomber jammer coming up. The play called off. The play called off. There was one Chief point picked up on the jam. There was a 1-minute penalty. Unnecessary roughness after the play. Lloyd Turbin. There's a shot of Tony Roman, number 37. One of the top jammers in the league. Early picking up the point, 21-19. Bomber lead cut to 2 here in the first half. 3 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the first half. Remember, we're going to be talking to Charlie O'Connell at the end of the first half, so be sure and stay tuned for that special interview.
And now the Chiefs are trying to put it on and get a lead before this half ends. The Chiefs with Grohl, Gammon, and Bob Woodbury are going to go to work. Joe Perez at the back of the pack. He'll be trying to get on this jam also.
The pack is formed. Jammers out. Number 32, Chris Rowe on the move. Bay Bombers. 44, Larry Lee going out of the Chiefs. Look at this. Lee start to move. Really stretching those legs out. Good, strong crossovers in the turn. That gives you a lot of speed. Lee takes the lead away from Rowe. Rowe scrambling right back down the straightaway. Leg block back by Rowe. Elbow block. Lee stays in there. Goes for the lead. Sidestep by Rowe. Good agility being displayed out there on the jam. Now they're at the rear of the pack, moving into scoring contention. They have lapped the pack. For each opposing skater they pass, now they'll pick up 1 point. Kroll doing the blocking for New York. For San Francisco, it's Boyd. Back with a leg block. Lee stopped to the outside. Woodbury trying to get back to assist. Kept forward by O'Connell. O'Connell comes back to the back. Now Boyd back into the elbow blocks. Rowe hit back by Bill. Rowe put down. Rowe looking to assist. Lee moves to the outside. Leg block. Here comes Rowe. Missing the block on Boyd. Runs into Woodbury. Rowe coming up again. Rowe to the outside. Stopped by Grohl. 4 skaters tied up in the rear. 2 blockers. 2 jammers. Rowe goes to the outside. Leg block back by Rowe. Put down. Leg block in by Boyd. And Lee goes down. Time runs out. No score. Either jammer unable to pass the defensive blockers at the rear. No score. The score remains 21-19. Bombers on top. Jack, we want to remind all of the fans, the Chief fans, no matter where they are in the Northeast, to be sure and tune in to Wolfman Jack Monday through Saturday in New York City. Top disc jockey in the country and the star of the movie American Graffiti, Wolfman Jack, between 11 and midnight on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights. All of the fans will be able to turn in, and sometime between 11 and midnight, they'll hear the game results of the Chiefs, no matter where they skate, along with the top scores and the series standings. The jammers are out. It's the Wolfman Jack Show in New York City. Tony Roman, followed by Dynamite Mike Gammon and Charlie O'Connell out as a blocker. Sidestep! Here goes up. Gammon low, Roman dump. The Chiefs on the move. Dynamite Gammon. O'Connell dropping back on defense for the Bay Bombers. Chiefs were the only jammer out. O'Connell back with an elbow block to the outside. Gammon being hammered back down the straightaway. O'Connell comes in with a block. Gammon held back there. O'Connell long ways back. I believe the officials are telling him to move up. Gammon stopped in the rear. O'Connell spun around. He's in danger of picking up a penalty. The pack at a dead standstill. Here comes Gammon. Gammon driving out the outside, out of the turn, down the straight. Roman sets him up, back with an elbow block. Gammon trying to build speed. Sidestep, squat slow. Gammon up. Jam called off. A tremendous New York score by Mike Gammon. 2 Chief points picked up.
The fans are on their feet at Madison Square Garden, and they're cheering Dynamite Mike Gammon, the top scorer in roller derby for the past 5 years.
Gammon scoring around the outside, or the inside of Roman, jumped high. O'Connell back with a block. Gammon squatted low and picked up the point over O'Connell, who collided with Roman. There's a shot of the tremendous crowd here at Madison Square Garden. And time in the first half is running out. The score at the end of the first half. The Bombers 21, the Chiefs 21. We'll be back in just a moment with an interview with Charlie O'Connell. This is Don Drury in Madison Square Garden talking to the Bay Bomber coach, Charlie O'Connell. Charlie, this seems to be a rough series for you in the start of a brand new season. I imagine that all of them just get rougher and rougher, and this evening's game is probably the roughest game out of the entire series that we've seen this far. Do you expect that type of action in the rest of the season?
Well, yeah, especially now that the Chief team put Woodbury on it. he makes the game a lot more rougher than it normally is, which makes it very great for our team because, like I said last year, we're the people that are going to throw the first punch last year and this year. Last year proved my point. We went all the way through it and did it. This season we're going to start out with the same idea, hit hard, but as long as Woodbury's here, he's going to make it a little even rougher, so it's good for me. I love it.
Well, I know that you've always been a great competitor, even in your rookie years. There were a lot of people that tried to stop you. I remember watching you back in the '59 season, and you've been plagued with an awful lot of injuries. People always complain about the braces that you have on your arms. I think a lot of them don't realize that both of those arms were broken and that they are necessary, and other players have the opportunity to have that type of equipment if they desire it as well.
I don't really care what the people say or what they think. I really don't give a good goddamn. I put them on for my protection. They're very lightweight. They're all padded. Even the skaters don't really complain. It's usually it's the publicity that's made about them, mostly the people that don't know anything. So that's what makes it look bad. They look hard, but they're not that hard. They're just protecting me so I don't shatter any more wrist or forearm bones, and that's all they are.
In your skating career in the International Roller Derby League, I would imagine in the past 5-6 seasons, these games have probably become the more rougher for you. Who would you say is most of your competition in the games today? Nobody in particular that you feel that you're the best all the way through?
Oh, there's no doubt. You know, you got to be pretty stupid not to ask a question like that. You yourself is standing there and admitted it, so is all the people in this building admitted it 2 years ago. Newspaper admits it, so why should I have to make really comments on it?
Well, that was a little bad on my part, as you said. But basically, I think that any athlete that's going to be out there and skate rough and is the best has got to have the confidence himself to feel he's the best. The New York team feels that Bill Grohl and Bob Woodbury are just as capable of doing the...
Well, they need somebody. They don't have anybody anymore. After I left the team, they don't know what the hell happened. You know, everybody went bananas here. The gates fell off, everything fell. Look at this crowd right now. They ain't really supporting their own team right now. They call this big crowds. When I was here, we filled this joint.
I remember that. I was here at that time.
So they don't really care about this team that much. If they did, they'd come out and support them.
In this team and in this game this evening, it seems that a lot of the competition out there has been not only with yourself and Bob Woodbury, but between Mike Gammon and Tony Roman. And that's been a lot of the rivalry between the Bombers and the Chiefs.
Well, it's always going to be that way, too. You take the two fastest men in the league, and they're equally the same weight, equally the same strength, and you've got a good game going. And it's basically them two guys are trying to prove who's the fastest and the greatest in the midget field. And as far as I wouldn't say nothing. I can take my hat off to both of them. They're both great skaters.
Thank you, Charlie, for talking to us. This is Don Drury and Charlie O'Connell from Madison Square Garden in New York City.